Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Sales Strategies for Christian Coaches podcast. Today I want to talk about creating urgency and accountability. But before I get to that, I do want to share the wrap up of a good story, which is that if you've been listening to the podcast, you heard probably a story on the episode about 3 keys to closing big deals. I told a story of my friend Brian and I having a chance meeting with one of his high school friends who happened to be interviewing with the Milwaukee Bucks that day for a cool position that was available. And if you haven't listened to it yet, it's a really cool story. Go back to the episode on 3 keys to closing big deals. And the end of the story is that this young man did get the job, in fact, and he was hired by the Milwaukee Bucks. So that's really exciting news. And my friend told me about the message that he was sent by his buddy. And I'm pulling it up now to remind myself of exactly what he said, so don't misquote. He said this. He said, "Brian, congrats to you and your wife on a beautiful baby." Brian just had his baby born. He said, "I want to quickly share the good news that I started my job this week as the editor-in-chief for Bucks Plus and probably wouldn't have gotten this far if not for our powwow before my interview. LOL. It really felt like that was a big, impactful piece. All right. So good news. He closed the big deal. And our powwow was effective for him. So that's great news. Today, I want to talk, though, about urgency and accountability. And I want to remind us that one of our jobs as coaches, as salespeople, is to help people create urgency to take action. In fact, our entire 10-step sales process is really designed to help people gain enough leverage and feel enough urgency to be willing to take massive action to change their life, change their business, change their marriage, up-level their health, whatever it is you help people with. If we have a great conversation and we ask great questions, ultimately, we help bring to the forefront clarity around what people want and how badly they want it so that they can create enough urgency to take action, because human nature is to not take action. Human nature is to remain comfortable. Human nature is to remain safe. We want to instead invite people to overcome their human nature and choose instead to be bold enough, to be brave and courageous enough to take action, to create the life that they desire, become the person that they feel called to become. And that's a big responsibility. And that's what the sales call is all about. It's about creating urgency or helping uncover the urgency people have to act. This is also something very important for us to do for ourselves. I'll get back to that in a moment. The second piece of this, though, is accountability, creating accountability. And so when we are working with people, once somebody is our client, part of our responsibility, part of the opportunity that we have as coaches is to hold people accountable to the actions that they're committed to taking. Now, you may coach people one-on-one, in which case you're directly creating some accountability. Maybe you lead or facilitate a group program in which people are sharing regularly about their goals and their action steps and their commitment and their follow through or lack thereof. And can be some accountability in that. But that's not exactly what I'm talking about here. What I'm really talking about is helping people become accountable to themselves, to become accountable to the action that they want to take. And so those are the 2 pieces I really want to center on is like, can we as coaches, as salespeople, as leaders, can we help people create their own urgency to achieve and pursue the things that they want? And can we help people become accountable to themselves in the pursuit of their goals? Can we help them have that transformation in becoming an accountable person who's urgently pursuing the things that they care about? That's a gift that we can give people. Whether they actually hire us or not, we can begin to give people that gift in the sales process. And we do that, by the way, through, especially we do that, like we're helping people build urgency and desire for what they want and help them potentially transition to a more accountable person who's pursuing what they want. We do that in the heart of the sales call, in discovery, the vision of what somebody wants. As they share their vision and their goals, they become more desiring of that vision and those goals, urgency begins to build, excitement begins to build as we share our goals aloud. And then we get into the gap, the biggest challenge that they're facing. There's accountability in talking about the challenge or the thing that's preventing people from achieving their goals. And then we get into the step of potential futures, where we begin to ask people the question of what's going to happen if they don't solve that problem versus what could happen if they did, and helping them imagine those two scenarios and share about that a little bit, which again creates a little bit more urgency, a little bit more accountability. And we move from that right into the step of commitment and asking people how committed they are to actually solving the problem, actually fulfilling the vision, actually completing the thing or achieving the thing that they're after. And even as they speak commitment aloud, they become a more accountable person. They become a more urgent person. There's something about actually speaking the truth aloud. So that's part of the gift of the sales process. And by the way, if you're listening to this and you don't yet have our sales process, it might be a broken record in our ending of the podcast episode to tell you to go to goodsalespdf.com. So I wouldn't be surprised if you've tuned that out. But if you don't yet have our sales process, we'd like to give it to you for free. It's 10 steps in a PDF at goodsalespdf.com. But that heart of the sales call is all about urgency and accountability in one way or another. And here's your reminder. It's also important for you as the coach, as the leader, to pursue the person God's called you to become and the goals that you're called to achieve, to pursue them with urgency and accountability and to become an accountable person. How can you do that? Well, maybe you need a coach. Maybe you need a mentor. Maybe you need to be part of a group or a community of people who hold you accountable. Maybe you just need a friend who you can be accountability buddies with. When I was selling Cutco knives, we called it accountability buddies. Accountability buddies. Yep, that was it. Maybe you need to form that kind of friendship with somebody where you remind each other of your goals, where you speak them aloud, where you have some accountability, where you have some follow through, where you create urgency for one another. You might do that by being part of our Christian Coaches Academy. You might do that by being part of our sales school program. I was talking to Ward today, one of my clients in sales school. I just love working with. Great, awesome health coach. And there was a conversation today that created some more urgency for him. Sales school creates some more urgency and accountability for him. And that's part of the reason that he's here. And that's part of the reason why I'm recording this episode today, is because that conversation was compelling to me. And so we'd love to create that with you. You can create that on your own. You can create that with friends. You can create that with systems and processes or tools. One of the tools I'm excited about right now is our Christian Coach Planner. If you're watching the podcast on YouTube, if you're not, the podcast is on YouTube, just so you know. But I'm showing it in the screen right now. But we created this new product called the Christian Coach Planner. And when you open it up, every single week has a Bible verse of the week. It has a business idea of the week. It has space to write down what we're grateful for and our top priorities and projects so that we stay focused on what matters. It has space for a to-do list, for our weekly goals, and for a sales tracker where we actually write the goals of what we want to accomplish and then track it. How many prospecting messages have I sent? How many sales calls have I set and held? And how many times have I asked for referrals or whatever it is that you are tracking? There's space for it there. You can, of course, create that sort of thing for yourself. Or if you want ours, we're giving it now to everybody who comes to our conference, Christian Coaches Academy Live. Come out to our conference in Milwaukee, June 19th through 21st, 2024, and you'll get the Christian Coach Planner. I don't care how you do it. Your structure is up to you. The people you surround yourself with and support yourself with, that's up to you. But this is important. It's important for you to figure out what are the structures, the systems, the people, the actions that you can take to continue to have urgency in pursuing your dreams and to be accountable to the actions and the next steps necessary to move towards that vision. I'm not talking about being stressed out all the time. I like peace. It's one of my highest values. I really want to feel peaceful. I want to feel light. I'm not a workaholic. I don't feel so much urgency that I'm going to work evenings and weekends. Outside of when we have a big conference or event, I'm not working any evenings or weekends. I like to have a light calendar. I like to take days off. I like to have fun. I want to celebrate the journey and not be in a rush to get anywhere exactly. But I am talking about making sure that the thing that you know you need to do today to become the person you need to become, to achieve the goals that you have for your life, for your business, let's not wait 3 weeks to do that thing we know we need to do today. Worse than that, let's not wait 3 months. And let's certainly not wait 3 years. Let's create enough structure of urgency and reminders and anchors to who we want to be rather than who we've been to call ourselves forward. My prayer is that you'll do this. If we can help you with it, let me know. If you're interested in joining our conference, go to ChristianCoachesAcademyLive.com. I promise you, we'll give you some urgency. We'll give you some accountability. We'll give you some tools. We'll help you create some momentum. It would be super fun to have you at our live event coming up. And if you're listening to this after the live event has taken place, come to our next one. We're going to be doing this for a long time. We would love to have you there. ChristianCoachesAcademyLive.com. God bless you all. Have an amazing week. Let's be urgent. Let's be accountable. Let's pursue our goals and dreams and be courageous as we do so. Talk to you all soon.